Let's see, prefab. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to. I'm making some modifications here, and then we're going to see something fantastic. But welcome to 7 Days to Die. Anyway, welcome to 7 Days to Die. And this is the Prefab Editor. Hello, look, you can see underground here. Today we're going to make a prefab, everyone, and we're going to export it. But I'm going to make it because you can't see diddly squat there, am I? Let's get rid of that. Escape. And welcome to this 7 Days to Die. If you open 7 Days to Die, there is an option, editing options, and in that is the option to edit prefabs. And a prefab is something that exists in the game. And for example, if I just load this here and then press Q, you will see that, for example, here we have got an example of all the different kinds of glass that exist in the game. And you can see they've got all the different kinds of glass. I'm currently holding things because I was using these things in the last thing. So that's what that is. If I press escape and press create new prefab, it will get rid of everything that we had in our prefab. That is just my cursor. Ignore that. In fact, let's just make that even easier by getting rid of these things, because we're going to use them all in our prefab. We don't need the wiring tools. It happens. Very depressing, really, but still. Anyway, this is the empty void of which there is nothing. And if we go into our prefab editor, we can see all of the things here. Now, we can't change anything that exists in the game because it won't let you save them. Now, what you could do is copy these things with a different name, you know what I mean? So you copy them and then you could edit the name and then you could play. But we're just going to make it prefab. We're not doing that. So I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing today. We're going to make a prefab. We're going to make something. Now you see, this is what happens when you first start out. You get this, but when you know what you're doing, you get stuff like this. So today we're going to make a prefab, and so we're not going to make this prefab, but just to give you an example of the sort of thing you can make inside the prefab editor. I'm going to have to stop saying the word prefab. So this is the sort of thing you can do inside the prefab editor. And basically what you can do, you can make a patch of land. See, I've done is make a patch of land, and in that patch of land I've even sown the seeds of some hops and some corn and some potatoes and some coffee and some super corn, because, you know, why not? Because it was there. And you think, well, that's very nice, and you made that, and you think, well, what are you going to do with that? And you go, well, this isn't it. Obviously, it's this. This is. I've also made a base. I made a little base around which I've put the spikes. I've put everything in place. I wired it all up, but it turns out that, unfortunately, your wiring is not saved in the game. And I've also got this working mushroom farm, you see. So we've got a place that we have built. So let's go inside. Here we go. Press Q. You come in there, look, exit. So it's nice, isn't it? Now we're going to go through all this. We've made a glass ceiling. I've put all my forges in. Now it doesn't matter what you do in here. I prepped all these forges. It turns out whatever you do, it just doesn't seem to follow through that these forges will have all of their bits in. So for whatever you do, everything ends up empty. You can put stuff here. So you can put stuff here, and in the game that will exist. I've also put I've really only put that here because that's the cooker. See, yeah. And then I've made these stairs. It leads up to this. I put lots of windows in. See, lots of windows. It goes all the way around here. Now, in my world, you can do this in the prefab editor. You can do all this because I wired it all up. But it turns out that in reality, all you get are the bits you've left behind and none of the wiring. So this will not work. Actually, that wouldn't have worked anyway. But regardless, so that turns out that didn't work. So it's a bit depressing. And here we are. We've got more glass ceiling. Obviously we can make whatever we like here. And we've got some steps which lead up to the roof, obviously, where we can also see. We've got a nice glass roof there. I don't think we can walk. Yes, we can. And we can shut the door. We can't shut the door. For some reason, the door. There we go. Okay. And then here is this, no apparent reason, glass. Oh, it doesn't like that, does it? If you stood there, it doesn't like it. Right, anyway. And there you go. And then there's the mushroom farm. And there's the glass windows. All very nice indeed. And then finally the door, which is here. And the word base. Did I have an open sign? Yeah. So let's just quickly pop that here. I feel like I ought to put it there. And it's important that you turn it on if you want it to be on in the game. That's latent discovery there. So there we go. Nice. If we have a look at that now, if I just go here and have a look. Yes, that's not bad, is it? Open. See, so the idea is you can make a prefab, and then later on we're going to be able to export our prefab and then plop it somewhere into our game. It gets a bit fiddly when it gets to that, but for now we're going to start from the beginning. And so here we go. We're in a world now with nothing, as you can see. Now sometimes when you load up this world, it will look like this, which is very annoying. You like the pig in? Am I supposed to? I don't know what we're supposed to do with that. So press escape and press, you'll see the top, we've got 1, 2, 3, and we've got 4 little tabs at the top. So it's the third tab, show the ground level. This is it. Press escape, and if you're floating in the air or anything like that, if you're doing this, press the letter Q, because you keep dying. It'll kick back in a sec. Yeah, so because you've got nothing there yet, you've got no ground. So things we need to do. First of all, press your tab button, press this light bulb button, and the very first thing it's got are the ground textures. These are the things we're going to need. Now, some of this I've got no idea what that is. We could find out, but I'm not going to bother. In fact, we could probably find out even easier if we had spent some time by pressing this 4th button here, and then probably just looking for ground. Let's have a look. Gravel, stone, ground. I was hoping they would have an example of all the different. I'm sure they have. I don't know what it's called though. Oh, it'll just be this. Okay, block textures. It's good, isn't it? Look, I've done a pathing test. Oh, it's good, isn't it? There's always some stuff. We'd have to have a little route round there. Should we have a... Well, we could load that in just to see. So here we go. Now you can see what's happened here is straight away we are underneath the floor. Not very good. But we're only underneath the floor because they've risen the floor up. And if we wanted to, we could lower it down. But we're not. We're going to press space. I'm going to have a look. And this is the world they've built. This is nice, isn't it? Now they've got sleeper zombies. Isn't this fascinating? Look. Look at all. I've never seen that. You know, it's crazy, isn't it? So this is a place where it would appear, if you wanted to, you can test. I don't think you can necessarily test. I don't know. It said pathfinding thing, didn't it? So, but whatever this is, it's fascinating, isn't it? Really, I've got to say that's very interesting. Never seen that before. So anyway, we're going to get off that. So we're going to press that escape key. Press in the create new. We're back to square one, and so you get the gist. What we need to do first is just lower ourselves down. Now, if you are floating, C is the button that you'll need to press to come back down to earth. If you go too far, you'll go underneath the earth, and it might just be a bit weird. Still, press this tab button, press the little light bulb button, and then we're going to choose a texture. So I'm going to go with forest floor. At least I think I'm going to go with forest floor. If I can find the forest ground. Well, that's it. So forest ground. Okay, now we've got the forest ground, and you can see there. But obviously, there's two things. You could just press your right button and do this, but that will take a long time. So what we're going to do instead is going to use our Z key. We're going to find a square. It can incorporate this square, but we're going to make sure it's level with the ground. I'm going to press it there. Now, how big do you want your... I press the Z key there. Z key is the first marker. So, question is, how big do you want your prefab to be? Because if you wanted it, you could just have it like this. A little teeny tiny prefab. Let's imagine we did, just to make things simple. So now, you want to fill it up with the ground texture, but you can't be bothered doing it the old-fashioned way. So you just press the letter L, and then to clear your selection, you'll be pressing the delete key, and there is your ground texture, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. See you on the next video. But no, wait, sorry, no. So that's how you'd make. We've made a very basic texture. Now the thing is, we can make that texture even bigger, because what I'm going to do now is put my pointer over here, and they're going to leg it over here. I'm going to leg it all the way over here, though, just to give you an extreme example of what the heck it is we're talking about. And I'm going to press Z here too. Now, if I look around, look at what I've done there. And if I press the L key and the delete key, and then I can get rid of pressing the Q key. I've just pressed the Q there. I'm now back on terra firma, and I, my friends, can now start building in the traditional way. So, I'm going to press Q again just to fly up. There we are. See what we've done now? We've made a really big patch of land. Yar! So we can do anything we like with this. Now, if we press the tab and then press the light bulb button again, this is creative mode, obviously, we have a few options. This is the shopping trolley. We can just browse things. We can browse things. It seems like commonish things are at the top for the most part. If you want, though, you can also just type things. So if I wanted to steel blocks, here it is. I just type the word steel. Everything beginning with steel pops up. I'm going to suggest to you, if you're going to make a base that you want to, play with in the game, then why not make it out of steel? You can paint them. Don't forget, you can paint. Everything that is available that is in the game. Let me. It's available there, but just get the gist. Everything is available that's in the game. All 2,050 items there, just to build and craft and make things that are really nice. And you can plant trees. You've got proper tree planters though. So, for example, if I go like this, you can now plant trees. I think I'm a bit too high up there. Let me just lower myself down a bit. So, yes, you can now plant trees, and if you press your right button to place, and your left button will rotate those. So, great work, everyone. We're doing great. We can just change that a little bit with some other trees that happen to look exactly the same, as far as I can tell. Let's just move out and see. So far, look at that. Well. Very nice. You've just made yourself a plot of land, dear, that looks like it's got some trees on. I'd have to say, that's a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? Let's just go down. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, no, that's rubbish, that. You can see that as well. We've got that. Let's get rid of that by pressing the delete key. Great. Now, I'm going to press Q and return to ground level. Now, let's just say you've got some trees or you've got some blocks. Let's do some blocks quickly. But you make a terrible mistake and you're in creator mode and you're like, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. And well, what do I do now? Well, there are several options, but really in this mode, in this Prefab Editor mode, simply press your Shift key, click the item you don't want, and sure enough, the item will just disappear. And so you could say, let's get rid of those pesky trees. I can't move too far away. Oh yeah, I can't get rid of the tree. Well, now that's odd. What if I hold a tree? Can I get rid of it then? Oh yeah, you got to hold the objects. Right, well I didn't know that. So it turns out... Wait a minute. No, it's having a thing, isn't it, there? Because that's not doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah, trees are a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, let's get rid of these trees if we can. I cannot get rid of the tree. It does not want to go. I wonder if you have to have the tree you planted. That could be... it probably isn't, though. I suspect it's just glitching. If it does get a bit weird on you, and you can always just say, oh, bugger it, and keep the tree. So, we'll keep the tree. So, let's imagine then we're going to build a house. Well, we can build a house many ways. Let's build a house the easy way. So first of all, how tall is our house going to be? Now, I'm not going to make a full house here because, that would take ages. But let's just say we want to build a structure. But we want to build it in a kind of record-breaking way that doesn't, that you can't do normally in the game. So let's just say we're going to build a cube from which you guys could then build a house. Yeah? Right. Well, what about this? If I press Z up here on this pile and then go all the way down here by pressing C. Now if I follow the line and say I press Z here, well, you can see, that's right, you can see if I press the letter L and press delete, which gets rid of the thing, I've just made myself a wall. It's good, isn't it? So let's do that again. Z, and then I'm going to press Z, press L, and delete. And oh God, I've just made another wall. We can see how fast we can actually build. Now, let's do it again. Z, we've got great range on this. Now, this is slight issue I didn't really account for, but let's just argue it was there. Well, it's not quite there, but for the sake of argument, well, let's just undo it. I think we can just undo it and do it again. The problem is I think I need to do Z here, and then Z there. And there we go. So we can see it's one deep, so that's great. So let's press L and delete, and finally you can do the same thing here. So Z and Z again. Now I know what you're thinking, Mike. You say to yourself, that's all well and good, but what at the top, you idiots? Huh! All you do is you just go to the top, you press Z, and then you press Z again, and you press L and delete. And again, let's imagine now I want to put a little farm on the top. So you think, oh, all right, you want to put a farm on the top? Press Z, press Z, hold on, press L, press delete. So he's going to just done it, hasn't he? Just going to put himself some grassland on the farm. Very nice indeed. Let's go inside our house. But wait, you say, no, because see in here, it's too dark, Mike. You've surely messed up now, haven't you? Well, no, not really. If I press Shift and delete, we can get some windows in. And because we're in the mode which we're in, obviously I'm just doing anything here, it doesn't really matter. But let's go into Tab, and I've already got some bulletproof glass blocks. So you could use anything. I'm going to use the, just for the sake of testing, we're going to use these. And so you get the gist. So really, we're just making a base. You could all do that in regular mode. The advantage, obviously, in this mode is that you get to create the base you want. And once you have perfected the structure of the base, so you're not going to. We've got to remember that we won't get the little things that we're not going to get are. Anything like wiring or resources, but let's just say that just to give you a couple of tips in regards to what you can and can't do. I'm just going to go like this. So remember, if you put a sign on in this mode, you can only turn it on and off if it's a lit sign, or indeed if it's a fluorescent light. So again, this is the same. Let me get rid of these. Somewhere and here I have a fluorescent light, and so if I just put some fluorescent lights in, the great thing is I can kit out the base with the fluorescent lights and never have to worry about powering them up because they're always on. That's nice, isn't it? So anyway, you can turn them on and off inside of this mode, but in the game they're perma lit or perma not lit. So I've just, because why not? So there we go. So we've got admittedly a bit of a rubbish base, but still what we're now doing is a proof of concept. Let's get it. We need to frame this thing. Oops, daisy. Right, here we are. Oh, what's happened? So there's our base. It's, oh gosh, what's it doing? Press that button there. Now it's not the greatest base in the world, but it will do for our demonstration. So press escape at this point, and what you'll see is that these have all got fancy thumbnails, and ours doesn't have a thumbnail. I don't know if you noticed. We haven't made it yet, so no, I'm not entirely sure of the order as to what to do next. So first of all, we're going to save our prefab, and we're going to call this what is this? It's just like a test build _1. We can put spaces. No, you can't put spaces in. Everything's underscore. And it doesn't like symbols. So test build _1. Press save. Very nice. Watch this already. Pressing it now. Now, if I go through here and just type in the word test build, I don't even need to, but look, there's no preview. If I go here though and say update prefab thumbnail, what will happen when I go back is that now you will see that it screen grabbed the where we were, and has now used that as the little thumbnail description of whatever it is we made. And so here you go. So that's what I've done here. I tried to make a base there. Did this? That was the zombie. Made it with the Prefab Editor thing. That's the base we just saw. That's another base. And I think it's quite, it's in some ways it's quite good, because what you can do once you've made your base, you then quit from the game, like so, and then allow me to just switch over to. So here we are. I have in 7 days to die. 7 days to die. You get to make a world. If you make a random generation world, it'll be called something. It'll be something like this, and in there you will see. Oh, pardon me. All these files, and in that is this, and this is the Prefabs XML. The Prefabs XML does the job of positioning everything in the world. Very exciting, isn't it? So if I go to Notepad now, and there it is, everything that literally exists in the world, and curiously, its position. So there is the position, the height of the thing in the world. So it doesn't automatically assume that everything is, you know, so it explains why sometimes you get dips in the world and so on and so forth. The position is there, if you like, is your XY, whatever you want to call that. That's your thing. And the rotation, the way it will orientate the world. So there we go. Now if I press Control and F, in my particular case, I've already put some things in the world. So I'm just going to find it and press Control and F to make my job a little bit easier. Now, just before I do that, I do need to go into Data, Prefabs, and if I go, so I'm in, I assume we're all in this, but Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common 7 Days to Die, Data, and now I'm in the Prefabs directory, whereas previously I was in the config, sorry, I can't remember where I was. I was in the Worlds directory. I will go back there in a sec, but first of all, we're in the Prefabs directory, because if you order everything into this state modified order, you'll see the recent edits you've made, and here all of the prefabs I've made so far today. We're doing quite well. We've got this one, so I'm just going to highlight, doesn't matter which one, because I just need to highlight that and copy this bit. Now let's go back over here. Now here we are, and you can see we've got this area. If I just paste as a temporary thing this bit, because what I really want to do is now grab an entire line of code, copy it, then I'm going to go and we can paste it on a new line, it makes no odds, and then we're just going to grab, we're copying, in fact we're going to cut, we don't need that there, and we're going to paste here. So you can see what I've done. You could have typed that, but I've cut and paste because I'm hyper bloody lazy, aren't I? Now, first of all, I happen to remember from the last go that needs adjusting. So let's pop this coordinate. Now I happen to already know where I am, because this set of coordinates, if you like, this whole area here is the prefab stuff. We're going to go and have a look at those prefabs that we saw in the real world, and we're going to see if our test build one position, so on and so forth, is going to exist. Now it's there. Make a note of your positions. So this particular one, because I do think they are next to each other, but still, -744. Here it is, -744, and -667. So it shouldn't be too close to Prefab 4. I'm trying to think of what Prefab 4 is now. Maybe I should put. Well, we'll just see. Yeah, it should be okay. So let's save this now. Save this. I've only opened it with Notepad. You don't need anything else. Just right-click it, open it with Notepad, and off we go. Now, so the file we've just edited, incidentally, let's go back. It was in our data worlds folder, and then remember the save the name of the country. It makes more sense when we start the game. So let's start the game. Here we go. Look, I don't need that because that's so good. So I'm going to delete that because that was the last one I had. So that's nice. So go back. All right, here we go. You'll get to the screen. You just want to start a new game, but you need to make sure that the game world is the same one you chose earlier on. Yeah? Okay? Making sure everything's the same. Now, this particular world, I've installed some mods that are going to allow me to make a world that's this big. It's crazy. I know. Yeah. So, we've got the title. You may have to type something. If that's red, it just means you've got to add a letter or something like that. This is called green 223 because, well, why not? Start. And off we go. Okay. It's quite exciting, isn't it? Now, obviously, this point in the game, this is the bit where you would now start your game. I would say to you, once you've finished making prefabs and so, if you're going to just do it for the sake of having you want to put a base in your game, plop it somewhere and then play the game, and eventually you'll stumble across it, and it's like a little safe haven, isn't it? It's a little safe haven where you can go and relax, and you know, you can put your forges in there. I mean, you've got to still make all your anvils and stuff, but you can. Oh, I forgot to show you how to do a loot drop, didn't I? But you'll see it. You'll see it. It's okay. Don't worry. Hey, if you want, you know, you could always just say, "Well, show us how to do that," and I'll show you. I can show you how to set it up so that the loot's everywhere. Anyway, here we are. We're in the game, and so obviously we're not going to go off and find. Well, we might. We could be right next to it. Nope, we're miles away. So we're going to press F1 and we're going to type in the letters DM. And then just for safety's sake, I'm going to press the letter Q because you know where we're going. We don't need roads. And then I'm going to press escape because the escape is going to get me onto this screen where I happen to know the coordinates of our location. So in fact, I think I'm going to take us to -838 -538. Of course, you would type in the coordinates of wherever it was you were being, but the reason we've typed that in is because, do you remember just before when we were looking at our crops? Well, here they are. Look, we've got some hop seed, we've got some corn. The desert seems to be encroaching, is that right, onto our land, but not to worry. We've got some coffee, and we've got the super corn, which I assume will be fine. In the desert ground there, I'm not entirely sure why that is. And here is our house. Look, there's that sign we put. We just did that. We just did it. Damn it! And the devil. Wait, did we do that? Well, did it? I may have done it on a different build. I can't remember now. And if we go around, we'll see the mushrooms. Nice. So it's all in game. All the wiring I've done has gone. So obviously this is that. So that's not great. But whatever. Now let's go to the next. Zone. If I press Q, because I mean we pressed DM, we can actually fly, but we don't fly very fast. The zombies have turned on because we teleported. We've just boosted. No, it's not great, is it? But it's not collapsing, so that's good. We could have dropped it down another level, but too many levels, and you know, it would have been disastrous. This is the zombie. What is it? Zombie range. And again, no point wiring anything in because it's just gonna it's not going to do anything. This is quite good though. I think you'll like this if ever it gets to the point where I turn it on. Because it's, well, firstly, very long, isn't it? Look at how long it is. So you can really get a nice conga of people coming up. But it's a testament to the thing. Anyway, here are, look, you can go there, you can go here. So here will allow me to interact with the engine and the lights. Obviously you may have to go into creative mode to wire some of this up, even in game, just for the wiring, and there you go. But the funny thing is, if I'm getting chased by the zombies, all I do is I run up here, and you saw how long it takes, but for some reason the zombies they do that route, and I can just go like this. Watch this, look at this, and then jump. And the zombies will walk right across. Isn't that nice? Okay, so let's get the Q mode back on now. Where was the... We should be able to see. Oh, God. Do you know what I think I've done? I've messed it up. Well, this is a great example of how to mess things up, isn't it? If I have done the same thing I did last time, then I may not have... I may have left a space in the name. You see, well, hello, what's this? Okay, well, here's something. Is this the one we made? Did we make this one? No, this was the one I'd made before. Okay, so for some reason that's here. But that in an unexpected way. And look, I've dropped things. Well, I don't know why it's done that. So you can search. There's a proof of concept. If we go in there, you'll see. In fact, here's a really interesting proof of concept, because you go down here, you go down here, you go down here, and then you go down there, and then you go down here, and you go down here. The thing is, you can't get back out. I haven't made it. I was just a proof of concept. And you go down there. And this is your secret cave with lights in that you can't turn on or off. Isn't that nice? I have to queue out of here. Oh, Ah. Ah. Now that is interesting, isn't it? Look at that. So, I have to say that is actually, you know, it's one of those happy little accidents, isn't it? I obviously forgot to change the height. So there you go. When you do put it in the world, don't forget to set the height. Isn't that interesting? I mean, what's more interesting is that the ground isn't collapsing this roof. Wow. It's a good chunk of ground there, isn't it? I'm going to just jump up and down on it, make sure it's okay. We'll fix that, but you get the gist. So there it is. Obviously, if you want, you can put your base underground, which is, I've got to say, that's a kind of cool idea, isn't it, really? If you forget, you can just set the level of the base to whatever you want. Where are we? Oh, Jesus, there it is. You can set it to whatever you want, and you could even create something like this. This is almost brilliant, isn't it? I mean, I'd argue that's like that is a genuine. It's a quite big, thick pile of there you go. So obviously, in this scenario, you would just raise the height, the middle thing. Let's quickly go and show you that. Open with. I'm going to leave it there for me. But in our world, if you wanted to put that in a kind of vaguely better place, this was the problem. I'd set it to 10. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I set this to 20. You'll notice that's 20. That's the one we were just in where it had an underground cave. And so it starts off at the bottom of the cave. And so you have to set it in the ground. And then as we've seen, if you do set it too low in the ground, then it will... in fact, it will give you a cave. That's kind of cool. I'm intrigued. I'm going to keep that in there. The great thing is I can actually go like this. Watch this. This is going to blow your mind. I'm going to copy that. Yeah. I'm going to paste it like that because I'm a rebel. So we've now done it twice. Only this time I'm going to set its height back to... Well, we'll see if it's... Often it'll be the case. I'll have to come back in now and do it again. But let's have a look. This is now going to be directly above it. This is going to be interesting, isn't it? So we've now duplicated our build, our prefab. We've got a downstairs and an upstairs. This might be a bit too high. I forgot to check the height. So let's see what happens. Because if it's too high, what happens is it just falls apart. But it'll be interesting to see. So, I've got the hiccups now. Stranded like a... I should wipe my brow and then... Oh, look, I'll have a look around. Oh, no. Where am I? Well, wait a minute. I don't understand. Anyway, no point overacting, is there? Okay, so we're just going to go straight to our... Because now I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. I want to see what happens. I've done the wrong coordinates there, haven't I? 7. 7A. Okay, now let's take a look. We've got some kind of a glitch going on here. We often do, though. Press Q if you forget to press Q. If you're just doing this, because you can get stuck in the landscape when you do a teleport. I think it's... I don't know, it always seems to drop you off on an edge, which is odd, isn't it? Anyway, here, look. By chance, people, we actually got the exact coordinates, didn't we? Look at that. Look at that. Now, go around the edge. Whenever you drop something into your world that you've made, go around the bottom of the edge, because look at that. Look, you see, now, if I'm going to... if I press Q and then press C, you can actually see I'm under the ground. So this can be a bit of a worry, so we need to test it first. So, jump up and down on it. No, it's too high. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, hello. It's falling down. You see? So it's too high. It's too high. It's no good. But it's only too high by a factor of 1. Yeah, really. check. Well, it's. Well, if I just get off of here and stand on the ground, is it falling down because it's going dead slow? It's odd, isn't it? The frame rate's gone right down there. No, it is. It's. I think it's falling down from the inside. Let's go have a quick look. Oh, it did. Ah. Oh, right. Yeah. That's interesting, though, isn't it? Look, it's all falling through. Well, now I'm half tempted to just say let's check out the disaster. But you still, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you get the gist. Obviously, you won't do that. You're going to do your own magical thing. I'm just going to press Q, break my legs, and watch the world crumbling around our feet. This is it. I hope you enjoyed that video. Obviously, don't do the double-decker thing, because this is what could happen. I'm not entirely sure why it happened, but still, it did happen. Interesting though, isn't it? So in this case, if you did do a double-decker thing, I would have had to have shifted the second coordinate to a different one. Still, very nice. Okay, well, that's it from me. The zombies are coming through now, so I suspect it won't be long before I end up dying. I hope you all enjoyed the Prefab Editor run through there. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm no expert, but I think I figured it out to some degree. Yeah. I think I've figured it out. Look at it, the world is crumbling around your feet. How can you say you figured it out? Well, you only figure things out, ladies and gentlemen, by making mistakes. And my mistake was leaving this one here. I should have deleted it. In fact, I should have just changed the setting. It didn't do too bad. If anything, I just need to lower it by one, but I'm not going to bore you with doing that again. It's fascinating, though, isn't it? I mean, it's like it's almost like a game within itself, isn't it? A game within itself where you spent days, say, on this world, and then you found out that there was a hidden world underneath the world of which you were in. A world that then began to crumble and crash. It really just shows you the power of your graphics card, doesn't it? Because I think if you had a really posh graphics card, you would have, you know, probably a lot of money in the bank, I guess. Very interesting though. It serves no purpose, but still very interesting. So there you go. I said bye. I mean, I assume you've all probably gone by now, but who knows? You never know, do you really? I'm going to stand on this bit. You can see my stuff. It's over there. It's on the corner, isn't it? It's funny. And you could have put your farm on the top. It was a bit daft. I don't know why I even said that, but still. Yeah, explains the weird frame rate issues. Anyway, there's a deer over there. It's nice, isn't it? Looks like a really happy place to be over there. Not like this place over here. Slowly crumbling around my feet. But I wonder if anyone's ever made it this far in my video. If you've made it this far in the video, congratulations to you. I've not really got anything else to do. But yeah, I literally just have to press stop so I can stop recording and then get on with doing something, really. I think I'm writing my next Doctor Who story. Oh, I just broke my leg. Got the idea. It's all about the ending, which I've now got. So interestingly, if you're thinking about writing a story, if you want my advice, the way I would suggest doing it is make sure you've got an ending first, because I had a few ideas for like a Doctor Who story, and I couldn't really think of. You know, you need the ending, don't you? You need that end bit, and without an ending, what you're doing. So anyway, that's it from me. I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your day. It really is laggy over here. I'm going to just teleport the hell out of here. Let's just fix that lag, and then we'll come back and see if it's still crumbling, just out of curiosity. There we go. I'll fix the frame rate there. Now I'm going to go right back. and then I am going to turn this off. So let's just quickly teleport back and see if it just... It's still there, still crumbling away, the old China. Well, that's it for now, and well, you never know. Well, there's a tree. I was wondering where that tree... Look, it's done it again, hasn't it? It keeps doing that. It's weird. Anyway, that's it. Take it easy out there, and remember, you know, always save your game. I don't know. Bye, and good luck, and Merry Christmas if you're watching this at Christmas. God, will someone please turn it off?